Welcome to SVGTV's news for Wednesday, October 6, 2021. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. 62 new COVID-19 positive cases were reported from 309 samples processed on Saturday, October 2nd, 2021, resulting in a positivity rate of 20.1%. From the 162 samples processed on Sunday, October 3rd, 28 new positive cases were reported, resulting in a positivity rate of 17.3%. A news release from the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, noted that there are currently 21 patients admitted for COVID-19 at the Argyle Isolation Facility. 19 are unvaccinated and 2 fully vaccinated. 32 patients have also been admitted to the COVID-19 ward at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. 31 are unvaccinated and 1 partially vaccinated. 3 new recoveries were noted over the reporting period. 1,304 cases are currently active and 33 persons with COVID-19 have died. 3,866 cases of COVID-19 and 2,529 recoveries have been recorded in SVG since March 2020. The health authorities say, in view of the confirmed presence of the Delta, Mu, and Gamma variants in the community and the significant increase in the number of new infections, transmissions, severe COVID-19 disease, and deaths, strict enforcement and compliance with all protocols and recommendations by everyone is strongly recommended. The authorities are also encouraging citizens to get immunized with the available vaccines that have all been proven to significantly reduce the risk of being infected, getting sick, or dying from the COVID-19 virus. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, SVG-TU, is not attacking or punishing the children of St. Vincent and the Grenadines with their current industrial action. So said President of the SVG Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, as he noted the criticisms that the union and its members have been receiving since announcing on Tuesday their decision to take industrial action against the government's vaccination policy, in which teachers who have been categorized as frontline workers are now expected to get vaccinated under the Public Health Amendment Act 2021. Members of the Teachers Union voted at a meeting on Monday, October 3rd, to refrain from online teaching today, Wednesday, October 6th, Monday, October 11th, and Friday, October 14th.
A political radio station talking about it's an attack on the children of the nation. They were not seen there when we were teaching the children and giving them supplies and working in their interest. You know, it is so unfortunate and unfair that you're going to say, and you're singling him out and threatening to get at me. As if the union is part of a political party or part of the arm of the government. The Teachers Union is an independent organization. It's a registered trade union. And the members make decisions, and it's either you carry it out or you demit office. Another misconception is that people demonize the president or the executive for a decision that a majority of teachers make. It's either you carry it out or you demit office. And everybody would know me by now. I am not the kind of person who would go against what the membership says. I will carry out the mandate of the membership.
The SVG Teachers Union president said, contrary to claims, teachers are not abandoning or punishing their students with the strike action, noting that teachers are stressed out with a new vaccination policy which requires them to be vaccinated before entering the school compound when face-to-face teaching recommences.
So you're giving the student 3 days, but you only take 2 days for offline. I think that is quite reasonable. So it's not that the teachers took a decision to totally abandon the students. They're still reaching out to the students. They would give them assignments when they are not online, and then they'll reconvene with the students and grade the assignments and continue to teach. You know, the matter is mandatory vaccination for different jobs. So the teachers are stressed out. The majority of our teachers are stressed out. They are concerned. In fact, If this thing has to go the way it is, many of our good teachers would be either fired or they would leave the job. You see, and we want to avoid that from happening. That is why we are speaking to the authorities and tell them, do not make vaccination mandatory.
News release yesterday, the union said a decision was also taken at Monday's meeting to file an injunction against the government on its vaccination policy. However, Robinson told SVGTV News today it would not be an injunction but something more simple.
So the teachers had to do something to get some awareness. So they took a decision that will file a motion in the House, in the court, to challenge what the government is doing. It may not necessarily be an injunction, because as we do this, we heard recently of 2 cases where injunctions were filed and they were not successful. So it's just a matter of the legal jargon that was used. It's not really an injunction, it's really something else, which you will hear from us in due course.
Robinson said that though they did not get a 100% participation of teachers in the strike action which started today, he is satisfied with the numbers who withdrew their service. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on radio today expressed disappointment with the teachers' virtual protest action called for by the SVG-TU. Prime Minister Gonsalves said as far as he is aware, it has to do with teachers being made frontline workers and questioned why they are making it difficult for students and the country.
I'm disappointed to learn that a number of teachers, not a large number, who attended an online meeting of the teachers union, that a decision had been taken not to do online teaching for 3 days, today being one of the days. Now, why would anybody want to do a thing like that? The reason why I understand is that they want to protest against teachers being frontline workers and requiring the vaccination. You want to punish the students? You want to hold the country to ransom? What is so difficult to about taking the vaccine?
The Prime Minister said that he received a letter from the SVG Teachers Union dated October 5, 2021, and read out some proposals the union made on behalf of teachers, which include the cost for COVID-19 tests to be borne by the government.
Consequently, the SVGT wishes to humbly propose the following suggestions to the Honourable Prime Minister and his Cabinet of Ministers for consideration. 1, that the cost for testing to be done by teachers every 2 weeks be borne by the state. This suggestion is made in light of the fact that teachers have not received any salary increases for an extended period of time and will consider the imposition of payment of testing an additional expense which they will be unable to bear. As the first one. Well, the answer to that simply is go and take the vaccine, which is free. Unless you have a medical, except you have a medical exemption, that all teachers be required to present a negative PCR test upon entry to schools, as the science has shown that both vaccinated and unvaccinated persons can contract and transmit the coronavirus. Yes, but you can't equate vaccinated and unvaccinated persons. The science says that those who are unvaccinated are more likely to get the virus and more likely to transmit it.
PM Gonsalves said the decision to include teachers as frontline workers who are expected to get vaccinated was based on a request by vaccinated teachers and concerned parents.
Teachers are in fact frontline workers. We were seeking to see whether something could be done there, but the demand coming from the teachers who are vaccinated and other teachers too, and parents, and what's happening in other parts of the world, progressive countries. The teachers are vaccinated, and I was hoping that the teachers themselves voluntarily would go and get vaccinated.
An Industrial Relations and Research Officer of the SVG Teachers Union, Andre John, said there is the possibility that even if all teachers are vaccinated, schools in SVG can remain virtual as the COVID-19 infection spread among the unvaccinated and vaccinated population.
Except to say that the authorities seem to feel that if everybody is vaccinated, then we could have face-to-face. But we have seen it happen where school was reopened, everybody goes in, vaccinated, and then they have to close. They will have to close because the virus continues to be spread among vaccinated as well as unvaccinated persons. So we continue to support the ministry's policy of observing the protocols, necessary protocols, and we continue to advise our teachers to look after themselves in the best way that they see, in their best interests. You understand? It doesn't make any sense you tell me mentally I am against something and you force me to take it. It's going to destroy my whole, my approach. And
John said that children are the union's biggest concern, as the officials are mainly speaking about vaccination among teachers rather than getting tested. He said that if teachers are only vaccinated and not tested for COVID-19, there is also the possibility that they can pass on the virus to their students.
And added to the fact that people continue to think that teachers do not care, or the union doesn't care about children. Children is part of why the union exists, right? Because within our structures are teachers who I deem as the hardest working forces in the country. And then we have been working for a number of years with our children. We have been seeing a great level of success. Of course, there's always room for improvement, right? But now you are stating that teachers either take the vaccine or go. This morning I had an occasion to ask a gentleman, suppose 50% of the teachers decide to go. What then? How are we going to operate? Are we going to have school with 50% of the teachers there?
Meanwhile, the Teachers Union President Oswald Robinson said teachers are not against vaccination because there are teachers who have already taken the jab and there are others who are willing to take it, but they just need more time.
People feel that if you're vaccinated, you should not be tested. But people need to change their mind from that. So we came closer to an understanding and appreciation and to accept that let everybody be tested. Okay? We're giving and take. So we're not holding one head to say there should be no compromise. Everybody be tested, you go, you do your temperature check, you present your PCR test, and if you notice there's anything in the temperature or the PCR test, then you ask that person, you can't come on the school compound. You go on quarantine. And you do the contact tracing like what you normally do. Right? And then we say those who are already vaccinated, come on board as a state and accept the liability in the event that anything adverse happens to that person, or God forbid if that person died. That's all we're saying.
The Ministry of Education has not yet prepared 3 schools for the new academic year, even as online classes have commenced. This is persons displaced by the explosive eruptions of La Soufrière volcano continue to occupy these schools as shelters. On Radio Today, Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Saab said that he would prefer if all the schools being used as shelters are vacated, but some shelters have tested positive for COVID-19 and would have to recover first.
The schools are Kingston government. They have 3 persons. That school had 1 or 2 persons there who are positive, tested positive with COVID, and therefore have to remain at the school. We can't send them out yet. And at Bible Methodist, we have about 13 persons, a couple persons there too, 1 or 2 of them also same thing, tested positive. And then JP Eustace has 21 persons. So that's in all 37 persons still remaining in schools. And we need to get those persons out soonest.
The Prime Minister is hopeful that the schools would be vacated before the blended teaching approach commences in about 2 weeks' time, so that excessive cleaning and repairs can be done.
They should be going home sometime this week. hopefully.
Okay.
So that Braxa can take hold of those schools and do whatever repairs and general cleaning up now, sanitizing and the like, assuming that we can reopen back the schools after the initial 2-week period of online teaching and learning.
Meanwhile, some schools are still undergoing repair and renovation work, along with the replacement of furniture. The Prime Minister said that they are still not sure how many of the tablets distributed to students were damaged, noting it will affect online education for those without a device. Students from the red and orange zones who were displaced by the explosive eruptions of La Soufrière volcano will receive a one-off back-to-school cash support of $450. This was announced by Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gansams while addressing issues of national concern on radio today from his home. The Prime Minister said the assessment for those who will benefit from the cash grant is almost completed.
Displaced families in the red, orange and yellow zones have been identified to benefit from a universal back-to-school grant of $450 per student head count from the Ministry of Social Development. Caseworkers, in collaboration with the board members, have completed the application process in partnership with all schools through their principals in the zones affected in the red, orange and yellow zones.
Prime Minister Gonzalez added that a one-off back-to-school cash grant for vulnerable students will also be made. He said that students who qualify for this support grant will receive $250.
Some schools have been sponsored separately, sponsored some of these grants, some of these components of the intended grant separately by other donors, and as a result, they will access less than the intended numbers who should be. You wouldn't double dip. For students or families who are not displaced and are living in the green zone, and they are in indigence or poverty and are recommended by the schools, these are recommended to benefit from a targeted back-to-school grant of $250.
Giving an update on the Wales Scholarship offer for Vincentians, Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gansams said that 36 students have been accepted, but another 6 are yet to complete submission of the documents. These students are to have face-to-face studies. Prime Minister Gansams said that the delay in students traveling to the University of Wales Trinity St. David is being looked into, but noted that they will not miss out on classes.
So the students may go up a little late, but that doesn't mean that they will be at a disadvantage now. That's the information that I've received. But all those things will be communicated for persons who require certain support systems beyond what the scholarships provide. The Ministry of the Chief Personnel Office, they had been in contact with the student loan program, to the student loan company, and for the requisite letters to be given to say, listen, and the government will give the assurance to the British High Commission that the resources are there.
55 scholarships are on offer, 40 are face-to-face, and 15 are postgraduate, which will be done online. 4 full-time scholarships and 6 bursaries have been awarded by the Basil Charles Educational Foundation this year. The Basil Charles Educational Foundation Scholarship awards students that exemplify academic excellence while overcoming financial hardships. Annually, the students awarded full-time scholarships receive a payment at the beginning of every school term, which amounts to $1,500. The scholarship recipients begin the program in Form 1 and receive payments until they graduate high school, with selected students receiving assistance into higher learning education. The full-time scholarship recipients this year are Doris Thomas, Delroy Bob, Lenroy Winfield, Rohan Andrews. The bursary recipients are T. Jundo Storm Jacobs, Smith Ron Nicholas Stapleton, Serenity Alora Joseph, Liana Barrow, Rashawn Nairi Morgan, and David Lewis. Since its inception in 1996, over 1,000 students have received aid through the foundation with full-time scholarships, bursaries, preschool programs, summer programs, and other educational pursuits. The foundation said along with the monetary scholarships award, full-time scholarship recipients are also eligible to receive additional support wherever necessary. The Basil Child's Educational Foundation currently has 39 high school students from across SVG who it lends support to. 6 months after the explosive eruption of La Soufrière volcano, which displaced thousands of Vincentians and devastated agriculture and fisheries sector in SVG, Red Cross continues to assist in the post-recovery efforts. In a news release, the organization said it has been working alongside several government ministries on varying projects to facilitate and further support the recovery phase for persons whose lives and livelihood have been affected by the devastating event. The Red Cross said it continues to distribute food and non-food items in communities across SVG, which saw an increase from 1,100 to 4,000 persons affected receiving assistance. The private and business sector, as well as faith-based organizations, have also received support from the SVG Red Cross. Close to 300 persons have also benefited from its cash and voucher assistance. The organization said through its program, Red Cross supports continued, many were able to pay their rent and other amenities, and that there continues to be a lot of emphasis on providing support for persons who have already returned to their communities. Operations Manager with the SVG Red Cross, Julia Simmons, said there are assessments which are still ongoing to support the fishing and farming industries, cottage industries, and livestock farming. She said hundreds of affected persons whose livelihoods were hampered during the aftermath of the volcanic eruptions are expected to benefit through these initiatives. The organization further noted that with the recent spike in COVID-19 infection rates and the unfortunate deaths, its team has doubled its efforts and paired the volcanic eruption response with that of the COVID-19 response, and has lent support to taxi drivers and public transport operators with items to help practice further encourage health and safety during their daily operations interfacing with the public.